Welcome back, everybody. I'm the Doc Bob Lee from BLS. You are watching Open. Our next guest is a multi-talented woman whose accomplishments span across multi-disciplines. She carries more than 25 years of petroleum engineering experience. Now, she is the host and executive director of the Greatness Engineering Hour, and she sits down with us today to speak about her show and all of the wonderful work that she's doing to uplift others in her wonderful industry. So please welcome to the show, Mireille Toulekima. Mireille, welcome.
Thank you, Bob. It's a pleasure to be here. Thanks for having me.
Oh, it's always a pleasure. We heard about all the wonderful work that you're doing in our community to uplift others and all of these businesses. Tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah, it's quite amazing to be able to talk to the audience in the US. As you mentioned, my name is Mireille Toulekima, and I'm actually originally from a country called Gabon in West Africa, but I'm based in Perth in Australia. So It has been, a long way. So I've worked, in the oil and gas industry. That's the first industry that I've, been in for more than 25 years now. And it has, helped me to travel the world and end up here in Australia. So really a great journey. And, as I was progressing in the oil and gas industry, obviously, when I started, I was the only woman, almost the only woman of color back then. So it was a challenge, but I managed to use that, to my advantage and to really, sell through, and now really giving back and trying to empower, more women who look like me, but also empower anybody who feel like they are, a minority in any part of, in any part of the world and in any business. And that's really what, the show is all about. Is, the show that I've created 3 years ago is all about, bringing people who are, who don't have a platform or a voice to come and explain, their great, to show their greatness, to step into their greatness, and to share, their challenges and the opportunities, and how they managed to become successful, even when it was really difficult. So that's been really the flow in everything that I've done. And so far, going into the oil and gas industry was not something that I've actually planned. My dad was an engineer, so I basically follow, the full step of my dad, but never actually imagined that I was looking at more doing research, not really getting into, engineering and even in petroleum. Didn't know anything about petroleum. But when my dad passed away, I basically had to stop. I was finishing my bachelor, really wanted to continue, but I had to get into the market.
So you were doing a lot of research, but when Dad passed away, you said, you know what? Let me find out more about what Dad was into. So you do have a storied career in petroleum engineering. And what made you want to get into helping others realize their dreams?
Yeah, I think the first thing was when I got into the industry, I was feeling really powerless because I was challenged. Back then, I was entering an industry that I didn't really know. And everything was done in English, and back then I was not, I was not very fluent in English. So, which meant that people were actually interpreting the fact that I couldn't speak English, that I was not good. So I had to battle through that and really find my way. And so going through all those hurdles and being challenged and being all the time asked to come and bring your best, I decided that I didn't want anybody to go through that. I really want to share my story. I really want to share whatever I went through and help, where I can, so that, the
Yeah.
next generation could actually have it easier than I had it. So that was really what pushed me. And obviously coming also from a country where, Gabon has 1.8 million people, and back then it was only 1 million. So it was also a way for me to help, a lot of the youth to really understand that if I can do it, especially women, they could do it. So for me, it's about, if you can see it, you can be it. And that's really what drives me all along to really share my story, to create platforms where people can be themselves and express themselves, because we all have something to share.
Yeah. What's the dialect in the country that you're from?
Oh, the dialect, we speak French, but they
French.
are we speak French, and there are 40 dialects. So
Yeah.
so French is the language that we
them.
use in Gabon. Yes.
Yeah. Good. So this wonderful show that you have, you're into that.
Yeah. So the wonderful show started this adventure 3 years ago. Really out of nothing. I actually wanted to do just one episode where I was going to bring people with, who could share their stories and share, tools and processes that they've used to be able to be successful. So I did one edition. And I realized that, it was a lot of people actually really liked it. So there was a demand, and there was an audience. So I started to really, do more research and come across, find people that, I could bring on the show so that they could inspire the people that the people that were watching. And the audience is mostly small businesses, sole business owners, coaches, and also a lot of people who are in philanthropy. And most of them, I mean, they're located globally. And I could see that they needed, this thing. And the name came really because people are like, okay, is it a show about for engineers? I said, no, it's not a show for engineer as you see engineers. Is the show for engineer because we all are engineers in our life. We engineer something, we engineer our lives, we engineer anything. So engineering is not just for, the technical people who go and do, a degree in engineering. We are all engineer, and that's why I call the show the Greatness Engineering Show. So that's been really a great thing for me.
And then you're a writer also. You're an author of 3 books. Tell us more about that.
Oh, yes. So I wrote 3 books. So I started to write more in focusing on the petroleum industry. And I started, it was just to give a boost to my career, because at some point I really started to stagnate. And so I went to one of the conference and heard one of the speakers talking about, the book could brand you and help you to get noticed in your industry. So that's what I did. And then, so the first book was really about the industry. And then I branched out to self-development. So Stepping into Your Greatness was my second book. And that's actually what, direct everything that I do in leadership and self-development. And the show was, basically came out of this, and everything else that I'm doing. I have a coaching program as well that I call the Greatness Engineering method that I've developed. And it's all come from this book. And in this book, it's a very short version. I've put the 12 rules that I think have worked for me to be able to become the person that I am. So
Oh,
those
we got,
12 rules are described in my book. Yeah. Mhm.
is that your best book?
I think it's my best book because it's based on what I went through and what I've learned through, my not only my professional experience, but also my personal experience. And I think that's something, when I look at it, that's something that I went through without knowing, but it's actually a process that I think people can follow to become successful at what they really want to do. And so that's why I said I need to write it down and I need to record it somewhere so that I can pass on, this knowledge and this process to different people and different generation.
We thank you for all you do. Is all the other books on, that third book, all of the books are on your website, right?
Yes, all the book are on my website and they're available as well on Amazon. So if you just by, typing my name, it's quite a unique name. You'll have everything, all the books coming out. So not a problem.
Is it on the website? What's
So
the
the website is mireilletulekima.com. So that's the website. And there's another website, which is more the work that I do on the greatness engineering method, which is www.thegreatnessengineer.com.
And we'll be sure to post it up right under you. Thank you so much. Thank you, Mireille.
That was my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Yes, okay. And you're always welcome to come back, okay? You're a friend of the show.
Not a problem. Thank you.
Mireille Toulekima. Yeah, she's the host and executive director of the Greatness Engineering Hour. We appreciate you. Once again, thank you. Coming up next, Bobby C. You don't want to miss it. He has the latest on the world of sports coming up next.